Hello everybody and welcome back to the Ultimate Fashion History with me, Amanda Halley, and the final episode of What We're Into for 2019. I started What We're Into in January of this year, and I've actually done 12 of them. This episode will round out the year, and because I don't have time to do a dedicated Christmas special this year, What We're Into is going to be full of festive holiday fun for all. Ho, ho, ho. I hope you enjoy it. I have been excited for 11 months about doing the December issue of What We're Into. You know how much I love the holidays. This episode will nearly be like a picture print by Korea and Ives. I can't wait to take a sleigh ride together with you. Let's go. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Let's go. And as I said in my introduction, I don't have time to do a dedicated Christmas special this year, but there are other past Christmas specials you can watch. White Christmas, Christmas in Connecticut, top 10 favorite Christmas movie outfits. I'll leave the links to all of these in the description part of this video. But this is all about what I am into this December. But moreover, as I was putting this together, I realized that a lot of what I was into was sort of connected. And so I thought what I'd do at the end is to put my Zoltar turban on and basically my trend forecaster's hat and see if I could connect all of these things as a prediction for the coming decade. And then you can tell me if you agree. Right, what are we into? I'm dropping this episode of What We're Into a little bit earlier than usual because on the 19th we are all heading down to Palm Springs to spend Christmas with my dad and my stepdad. And this brings me to the first thing that I'm into. I saw this wonderful documentary a few months ago and I've been meaning to include it in a What We're Into, but I always forget. It's called Sinatra in Palm Springs. I can't remember where I streamed it, but you'll find it. It was so interesting and it spoke to what Frank Sinatra did and his contribution to what Palm Springs became and to the image of Palm Springs. It was really cool and very mid-century modern, if you like that kind of thing, which you know I do. Let's look at some fashion. I was so excited to hear this news. Missoni will be joining with Timex in 2020 to bring out a limited range of watches. This is the only image I could find. I don't know what the price point is, but how expensive can these be? It's Timex. I'm sure they'll be gorgeous. I thought that was kind of nifty, but niftier still in the fashion realm. Ray Kawakubo of Comme des Garçons has just designed the costumes for the Opera Orlando in Vienna, and here are just some of them. So, Kawakubo, these weird, oversized, colourful garments. Just as well, it's an opera. I don't think Ray should be doing costumes for a ballet. That would be difficult, but I thought this was joyful and fun, and I love the crossover between fashion and the performing arts. Oh, I know you've all seen this commercial, but I just have to tell you how touching and sweet I found the new commercial by a telecommunication internet company that features E.T. The narrative of the commercial is that E.T. comes back down to Earth after almost 40 years to pay Elliot a visit, and the actor who is Elliot in the commercial is of course the same actor, Henry Thomas, who played Elliot in the original movie. They hang out, they watch TV, they watch Christmas movies. Elliot introduces E.T. to his wife and his children, and then via hologram before he goes home, E.T. shows Elliot his wife and children. I was in floods, especially at the end when the message was, reconnect this Christmas. Oh, it was beautiful. Another ad that made me cry didn't cost quite as much money as the ET Telecom commercial. Have you heard about this? A little hardware store in Wales called Hafford Hardware made a TV commercial for local television for $130, and it featured the 2-year-old son of the owner. It is so adorable, so touching, and it has, an absolutely beautiful twist ending. Check it out. Just put in Hafford Hardware and it'll come right up. It's going viral. You'll love it. What else are we into? Well, I'm really into getting my hands on this new book that's just come out in time for Christmas. Worn on This Day, The Clothes That Made History by fashion historian and wonderful author Kimberly Chrisman Campbell. And it goes day by day throughout the year discussing famous outfits that were worn on that day in history. I think it looks amazing, and I particularly like that it doesn't just involve women's wear, it involves men's wear as well. I think this book looks great. What a great gift to give a fashion history loving friend, although I do have some other ideas. I am so into the Ultimate Fashion History online store. Yes, I've got merch now. I love creating the merch for the store. I'm creating new merchandise all the time, but there is a lot to choose from. We've got mugs, t-shirts, socks, iPhone cases. Some, of course, are branded, and I love the concept here. So, for example, this cup here has a 1920s lady on it. Fashion is not an island, ellipsis, and then on the back, it's a response with a 1920s voting ballot box. Love this one too, because not everything is branded. This is not a flapper. Back of the mug, but this is. My favourite so far, Walk Like an Egyptian, my 1920s Egyptian revival range. Walk Like an Egyptian on the front, and Howard Carter's book, The Tomb of Tutankhamun, on the back. T-shirts like this Edwardian lady, Fashion is not an island, and on the back it's a response with a suffragette medal. We've got iPhone cases, everything, and you know what? It's not all female imagery. I haven't forgotten my boys out there. There's a lot of male fashion too. So if you are looking for a gift for a fashion history obsessed friend, or even a gift for yourself, head over to the UFH online store. I can't believe I've got a store. I'll leave the link below. Enough shilling for myself. What else are we into? I am so into Shipton and Heneage slippers. These beautiful handmade velvet slippers with quilted silk interiors. Look at this embroidery. Isn't it gorgeous? It all really reminds me of the 1930s somehow. The kind of slippers that Marlene Dietrich or Anna May Wong might wear. I love these slippers so much, and I think I'm getting a pair for Valentine's Day, but I'll let you know about that. We've got Christmas, New Year, everything to get through first. So what else are we into? I am so into watching this new show. It's called Rap Battle. I think I'm watching it on Hulu. And yes, it's one of those reality competition shows, but in Rap Battle, the contestants are all gift wrapping experts who are set challenges regarding wrapping Christmas presents. With beautiful results. I love seeing creative people doing creative things. And in this case, they're doing creative things with paper. I might get into paper crafts in 2020. You know I can't sew or paint, so maybe paper is the medium I've been searching for. Anyway, it's so much fun, this show, and one of the judges is Carson Kressley. How wrong can you go? What else are we into? Well, sticking with beautiful things made of paper, I discovered this company in England called the Cracker House. I'll leave the links to everything in the description. And they have this range of crackers fashioned from 1950s fashion illustrations and pattern books. These are so us, aren't they? But perhaps even prettier, a lady called Sonia on Etsy has created these crackers out of original vintage paper and paper graphics. She also creates Christmas ornaments, and evidently she's bringing out a range of vintage felt stockings. I can't wait to see those. I will leave the link to Sonia's store in the description area. And thank you so much, Sonia, for letting me use this picture. Oh, these are so gorgeous. And again, sticking with holiday ornamentation, I'm really digging the trend this year of people decorating pineapples as if they're tiny Christmas trees. Even cack-handed moi could probably do something like this. We're having a dinner party next week. I might get me a pineapple and go all mele kalikimaka with it. What else are we into? I am really into the music of the month, which of course is holiday music, and I have been wedded to my Spotify playlists, like my 17th century Christmas playlist, my cozy 40s Christmas playlist, and the coup de grace, my very swinging Christmas playlist. I have been working on my playlists for about 3 holiday seasons now, and the cool thing about Spotify is that you can find other people's playlists. So if you want to listen to any of my playlists and grab them for your own, just type Amanda Halley into the search on Spotify and they should come up. And I would love to have your holiday playlist too, so just email me with your holiday playlist on Spotify. I am also really enjoying Dionne Warwick's new Christmas album, Dionne Warwick and the Voices of Christmas. She does a lot of duets with other lovely singers. Oh, and it's just wonderful. She's so mellow, very mellow Christmas. If you're getting stressed with the turkey or the gift wrapping or the in-laws, just put Dionne Warwick and the Voices of Christmas on and you will be in a mellow vibe. But you know what my favorite Christmas album of the past 5 or so years has been? This one. Seth MacFarlane's Holiday for Swing. Oh, what a beautiful voice he has. This is a really great Christmas album in the tradition of Sinatra or Harry Connick Jr. I love this album, but then again, I do have that huge crush on Seth MacFarlane, so it all makes sense, right? What else are we into? Oh yeah, sticking with that classic crooner sound, we are so excited because next Friday, before we leave for Palm Springs, we are going to see a really retro crooner Christmas. We saw this last year and they are reviving it this year. It's a little musical review that is so in the spirit of those 1960s TV holiday specials. It is not performed by professional singers and actors, but by community players. And the reason we went last year is because of this young man here, who is the star of a really retro crooner Christmas. His name is Connor Boa, and we first discovered him in a community theatre production of Hello Dolly. He was playing Barnaby, although he really should have been playing Cornelius, we think. Anyway, I want to make a prediction. This kid, he must only be about 20, is so good. What a voice, what charisma. So much charm. He's got it. If there are any agents out there, check him out on his YouTube channel. I'll put a link to that in the description area too. This kid is going to be a star, and when he is, remember, you heard it here first. What else are we into? Again, sticking with that good old-fashioned 1960s TV Christmas special vibe, I loved the Casey Musgraves Christmas show on Amazon. It really was so charming, and it had some fabulous wardrobe. It was visually gorgeous, very Wes Anderson, I thought, with fun guests like James Corden here. And look at what Casey is wearing there, this gingerbread inspired jumpsuit with a little bolero and bishop sleeves. In this scene, she really reminded me of Bobby Gentry. And of course, there's a 20th Century Style Icon episode on Bobby Gentry here on the UFH. Anyway, I found the show heartwarming and charming, and there was even quite a funny little segment with Kendall Jenner that riffed off Love Actually. Check it out. It's really fun. What else are we into? Well, Pantone just announced their color of the year for 2020. Classic blue. I am so into it. How do you guys feel about it? I think it's gorgeous. And there it is applied. Pantone describe it as a color that instills calm confidence and connection. This enduring blue hue highlights our desire for a dependable and stable foundation on which to build as we cross the threshold into a new era. I think this is a very elegant blue, and so does Frankie, who is an Ultimate Fashion History Facebook group member, and alerted us to the fact that this classic blue is used as a signature color in the movie Lust Caution, and was also used in a dress by Frankie herself. And here is our beautiful Facebook group member, Frankie, in a classic blue dress. Isn't she gorgeous? The epitome of elegance and grace. I love this blue. I love Frankie too. What else are we into? Well, I cannot believe that I only just discovered Hilda. A 1950s, 60s, although I think she was still being created through to the early 80s, pin-up by artist Dwayne Bryers. This sassy redhead, as you can see, is a little bit more zaftig than the average pin-up. I love this artwork. It's so joyful and fun, and Hilda is brought so vividly to life. I particularly like her holiday moments in her striking Santa red long johns, and on Amazon you can find a Hilda calendar for 2020. My husband and I are really into watching this YouTube channel called Red Letter Media. Basically, it's these guys from Wisconsin who do movie reviews. They do serious reviews, but they have a series running on their channel called Best of the Worst, where they review the worst movies of all time, but not famous worst movies like Plan 9 from Outer Space or Showgirls. No, they review movies from the 80s or 90s that you've never heard of, that went straight to video. As they say, they watch them so we don't have to. Sometimes they even review training videos or educational videos. Maybe it's just our sense of humor, but these guys, we think, are hysterical. And yes, of course, they have Christmas episodes of Best of the Worst as well. What else are we into? If you haven't seen this little viral video that's going around, you must be living under a Christmas rock. Basically, somebody was filming their cat, and the cat says, "Well, hi," in a southern accent. The cat does a meow that sounds exactly like he's saying, "Well, hi." It's hilarious. I've watched it a million times, and this might be a good moment for me to tell you that Django would wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Feliz Navidad, Happy Hanukkah, but he only ever thinks about himself. And also, every cat is given a voice by their humans, right? Are you a cat owner? Have you given your cat a voice when you do their internal monologue? We have given Django the voice of Peter Lorre, so I can't possibly do that on a UFH. I'm sad that Django won't be with us in Palm Springs, but he's going to be very pampered and well looked after, and he'll get his stocking early. What else are we into? How Christmassy is this? I am really into the Macaulay Culkin revival. After a couple of decades of being really vilified and I'd say almost bullied on the internet, Macaulay has made a spectacular comeback. I first discovered his comeback through Red Letter Media, because he's one of the guest hosts on Best of the Worst. This Christmas, he features in ads and posters for Happy Socks, complete with his chipped red nail polish. And he also stars in a commercial for Google Assist, where he recreates key scenes from Home Alone, but using
Google Assist to help him thwart the baddies. And believe it or not, the Macaulay Culkin revival will actually feed in to my predictions for 2020. So, brace yourselves, that's coming soon. I am really into seeing this Amazon original movie that debuts later in the month called The Aeronauts. It stars Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones as two real-life 19th century balloonists who evidently went higher than anybody else. It looks spectacular, although I have to admit the trailer did kind of give me the heebie-jeebies. I'm not great with heights. What else are we into? Did you see this? This came out earlier this year, but we only just watched it last week. It's a 3-part series from the History Channel called The Food That Built America. It's part talking head, part docudrama, and it tells the epic and quite adventurous and exciting stories of people like Henry Hines, Milton Hershey, Colonel Sanders. It was so engrossing. Each episode is about an hour and a half, and the drama part is so dramatic. My goodness, I was so surprised by so many of these rags to riches stories of products that we still use and enjoy every day, and that really did help build America. What else are we into? I was so excited to hear that next year, finally, there is going to be a documentary about the life of David Attenborough. Did we not all grow up and continue to watch his epic nature shows and enjoy his own relationship with animals that stretched way back? There is a young David Attenborough with what looks like a tiny bear. I had the great privilege of meeting David Attenborough on more than one occasion. In the 1980s, I worked in a wine store in the neighbourhood of London where he lived, Richmond, and he would come in often, and Sir David was as lovely as one imagined he would be. He's 93 years old now, and he's still making nature shows. And now, from the very old to the very young, it's time for a very special and rather different episode of What Annabelle's Into.
Hello and everybody, and this month I'm not doing a What Annabelle's Into. What I'm into this month is I'm very proud and happy of everyone who watches my segment and who leaves nice comments, and wishing all the UFH fans a very happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. Hugs!
The word of the month is jubilant, because I am. The food of the month is my Christmas shepherd's pie, although technically I think it's cottage pie because I make it with beef, and shepherd's pie is made with lamb. Is that right? But I think we call this dish shepherd's pie anyway these days, don't we? I make it with beef, you can make it with lamb, or if you are a vegetarian, you can make it with a vegetarian substitute. Basically, just make your shepherd's pie how you make it normally, but then in the mashed potato, grind some fresh nutmeg, and for the meaty mixture, add a great big handful of cranberries. You won't believe how much it elevates this dish. It makes it really festive. And the cocktail of the month is hot buttered coconut rum. Basically, just get any old recipe for hot buttered rum, and instead of using regular or spiced rum, use coconut rum. It's delish, and it lends your festivities an island spirit. Mele Kalikimaka. Okay, I know rum is from the Caribbean and not Hawaii, but work with me here. Mele Kalikimaka. The designer of the month, oh, one of my favorites, and you know he is. Ori Kelly was a December baby, and let's just remind ourselves of 3 reasons why we love this boy from Oz. Well, 2019 has been a big year here on the UFH. I launched a few new series, 5-minute fashion, history and color, just for fun, and of course what we're into. A couple of days ago, YouTube sent all of its YouTubers their statistics for the year, and these were mine. Okay, I know this isn't huge compared to some of those brilliant big fashion history channels, but for little old me, this was really, really nice, and it's all because of you. Almost 1 million views and almost 141,000 total watch hours. And again, this is all because of you, so thank you for watching the UFH. And this is a perfect opportunity for me to send out a genuine, massive, heartfelt thanks to the admin of the Ultimate Fashion History group who keep the group running while I make the videos. Maria, Calm, Tom, Danelle, and of course our head admin, Kendall. What would I do without you guys? I'd be a mess. Let's look to the future. 2020, I'm excited. I think we are all going to have a great year. This is what's on the slate for me right now. In January, I'm so excited because I'm going to South America for the first time. I am going on a fashion history business, and it'll be the first time I'm in South America and the first time I've ever gone south of the equator. I just figured that out. This is so weird. Where I'm going is south of the equator, and even though I've been to Asia and Africa, I've never actually been south of the equator, so I'm excited about that. And then in March, I think, I'm heading over to Vietnam, to Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, to again teach a fashion history workshop. I've been there before, and I do this pro bono, and oh, I have so much fun, and the students are wonderful. And of course, I'll still be teaching fashion history online for my usual college. I get to teach all my favorite courses in spring semester, so I'm excited about that. And the most exciting thing, I guess, that I'll be doing in 2020 is this. I have been asked to write a book on 60s fashion and how fashion is not an island, it's a response. Right, now for my predictions for the decade ahead. Looking back on the 2010s, I think an awful lot was achieved. Rights were fought for and won, at least in part, and at least for now, for a great many groups and a great many people who are very dear to my heart. But I think it was also a very angry decade. There was a lot of political division. I think that social media became too powerful. Cyberbullying and cancel culture destroying people with a casual click on a smartphone. Unkind and unflattering memes of people doing the rounds. But I really think that all of this is about to change. I really think that we want to go into our new decade with a slightly different attitude. And I think the clues may, if I'm right, I hope I am, are there already. Think about Pantone's colour of the year for 2020. This calm and sober and considered blue. Think about the E.T. commercial that is making everybody cry. Everyone who sees it seems to cry, or at least they're very touched by it. Does it take people back to a time that they perceive as being less unkind? Think about the Macaulay revival. This man was vilified, mocked, and humiliated on the internet for 20 years. Now, we love Macaulay again. We also love a 2-year-old boy from the Welsh valleys. And think about how A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers movie, is touching everyone with Mr. Rogers' message of kindness. And have you been following this lady's story? She's called Mary Latham, and in 2016 she set off on a road trip by herself, visiting every state in America and looking for kindness and finding it. And the news that I just read is that UCLA are about to start the first ever scientific research program on the concept of kindness. So I think that if we take all of this stuff together, I think that possibly we are ready for the new decade to be calmer and more considered, to be more balanced and self-possessed, I guess. I think in the 2020s we might be more ready to forgive. Basically, I think in the new decade we are going to make kindness the norm. At least I hope we do, because after all, kindness is free. So let's sprinkle it around.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of What We're Into. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of you very happy holidays and a very happy new year. And I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank you all so very much for watching The Ultimate Fashion History, for subscribing, for so many letters and messages that I got, for joining the Facebook group. Those of you who have, I've had a really fabulous year. It's had its dramas, but I think that's true of everyone, right? But what's helped me through the good times and the bad times is always knowing that I can share a little bit of my life with all of you and my passion for fashion history. I really send you all my love and gratitude, and thank you for everything, and have a wonderful holidays and a very happy new year, and I will see you in 2020 with some new series and a lot of our old favorites. Now the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. As long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it